now available in paperback and ebook. The Man Who Rules the World. John Hayes must bring together men and gods to overcome a threat that seeks to destroy the planet. The Man Who Rules the World. Now available in paperback and e-readers everywhere. I had someone come to my blog where it was written about how all these ex-offenders are being considered for employment by employers these days because of an alleged job shortage. And this individual decides to say that one of the reasons why I'm not getting hired is because I have a quote-unquote attitude problem. Now, I'm going to address this issue and explain some things regarding black men in the workplace. Now, as it relates to me, I do not have an attitude. I'm a very serious person on the job. I'm very focused on what I want to do, and I'm focused on the things that need to be done. When I'm at work, I'm all about work. I'm not here trying to be somebody's friend. I'm not here trying to socialize with people. I'm here to do what I'm paid to do, and that is get work done. Because as I see it, I'm here on the employer's time to help them make money, not be there to hang out and socialize with people. For me, it's about achieving the goals of the organization and my own personal and professional goals, not about turning work into a hangout. So I'm very serious about the work that I do when I'm on the job. I'm not here to be joking around and blurring boundaries. This is something a lot of people don't understand about this modern workplace. In this modern workplace, we have a lot of people who want to blur boundaries. They want to be your friend, they want to hang out with you after work, and they want to go hang out on the weekends. And all that does, as I see it, is blur boundaries. And when you blur boundaries in the workplace, what that does is it leads to problems. And this is why a lot of guys wind up having to quit, because they jam themselves up by going out here blurring boundaries, especially with females on the job, going out here and having relationships with females while on the job after hours. And then when they get back to the office and things go sour, that's when the female then goes to human resources and starts talking about sexual harassment. Or they start hanging out with a fellow at the workplace and things go sour over there, and then this guy is pretty much sabotaging their projects. So for me, I like to keep my boundaries pretty hard when it comes to the workplace. I'm very serious at the work I do, and I keep hard boundaries in the workplace because for me, work is work and home is home. I'm not looking to get my emotional needs met from the place where I make my money. The place where I make my money is about making money, and the place where I get my emotional needs met is at home. That's what I'm all about, and I'm very serious about maintaining those boundaries. And if that's called an attitude, I don't know what to say to people out here. When it comes down to work, I do not have an attitude. I am a professional, and a professional pretty much knows how to set boundaries with people and establish a protocol for engaging them in the workplace. And that professional protocol is not only to protect them from liability issues, but to protect myself from other issues in the workplace. And this is something people just don't understand about the workplace. The workplace is a professional setting. It is not a social setting. It is not a place to be friends. It is not a place to get your emotional needs met. It is a place to get work done and get business done. It is a place to pretty much make money. And if you are too busy being social, then you're not going to have a hard focus on doing what you need to do to make money. And as I've run into in numerous workplaces, most people wind up getting focused on all this social stuff, and then the goals of the organization wind up getting lost because everybody is caught up in drama. But they'll say that a guy like me has an attitude because he wants to keep it professional and he's serious about his work. And they think that that's an attitude. No, that's a professional demeanor, and that's establishing professional standards as it relates to the workplace. It is setting hard boundaries and pretty much establishing a standard for a work environment, because the work environment is rough. But sadly, these days, we have a lot of people out here who want to live in a smooth world. And because they want to live in a smooth world, they don't want to deal with conflicts, they don't want to deal with problems, and they want to be comfortable. This is why I see so many people pretty much thinking and focusing on social things and looking for people who fit a narrative that pretty much fits their story or tells the stories that they want to hear, and not focused on competing. Because if people were focused on competing, they'd be focused on what they need to know. They wouldn't have a problem with people being different. They wouldn't have a problem with people being serious. They wouldn't have a problem with these things because they would understand that the people who are different and serious are all about helping them compete in the workplace. No, today's people want to be happy, they want to be comfortable, and they want to get their emotional needs met from the place where that's supposed to meet their economic needs. And as I see it, a lot of these people out here, they have the wrong attitude as it relates to the workplace. They want to talk about how I have a bad attitude, but a lot of what I'm seeing from a lot of these people out here, a lot of these employers that I've worked for previously and the ones that I've interviewed with, is that they have the serious attitude problem of not being focused on what needs to be focused on. They're focused on trying to get their emotional needs met again from that economic system. They're trying to find friendship and relationships and all these social things from the job that is supposed to be paying them money. And when you have your priorities messed up like that, that's when you're going to wind up in trouble. And I've seen so many companies wind up in trouble because they don't know how to set hard boundaries with people. They don't know how to focus on the professional goals that they have. And they don't know how to have standards for their workplace that are completely different. No, everybody there is pretty much dysfunctional, and they're trying to get all their needs that they were supposed to get met by mommy and daddy, by their bosses on the job, and they pretty much are trying to turn the workplace into some sort of codependent, dysfunctional environment where everybody is all up in their feelings and not focused on what needs to be done. And that's what leads to me looking at this working place modern today, and again, talking about how it's pretty much more about narrative than it is skills. Because I look at a lot of these companies, they pretty much are focused on narratives. And a narrative is about, again, telling you what you want to hear, making you feel good. But in a business, business is about making money. Something can make you feel good, like many of the books that I publish, but it may not make you a lot of money. And this is something a lot of people don't understand. And they'll tell a guy like me who is pretty much want to focus on being professional, we have an attitude when we have the right attitude for the workplace. We're talking about competing, we're talking about getting things done, and this guy's pretty much talking about hanging out. And the workplace is not a hangout. And what a lot of people also don't understand is that they want to come at you with this attitude thing, and that's another thing to try to project that, oh, this is an angry black man. This is the thing that they're trying to reframe the argument around, is that you're this angry black man. And I understand what they're trying to do here, but what they don't understand is why that black man is being serious, like myself, is because we understand that the workplace is a hostile environment. And when you're a black man in the workplace, you pretty much know you are behind enemy lines. So you have to be very careful with who you engage with and who you get involved with, because the least little engagement can pretty much cost you your job. All it takes is for one person to look at you the wrong way and you're pretty much gone, all because this person says they don't like you, because they have an emotional reaction to you, because not because you're a professional with skills, but because they have a feeling about you. And when you're in the workplace interacting with someone as a black man, you pretty much are anxious all the time. And the reason why you are anxious all the time is because you don't know if the money that you have on this job is going to end at any given time. Any little issue that one of these people have on the job can pretty much lead to you being fired. If one of these black women on the job decides she's mad today at one of her kids and then decides to take it out on you, you could be out of a job and have no way to make any money for yourself. If one of these white guys comes in the job after he's had an argument with his wife and you pretty much make one little mistake, you could be out of a job at the end of the day. And that's what black men have to deal with on the regular. We pretty much looking over our shoulders, worrying about whether we're going to be here tomorrow, because we don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. And for some of these people out here, they believe, oh, this guy is paranoid. Well, guess what? We are very scared of losing our source of income because when it comes down to black men, these jobs that we get, they may take years for a black man like myself to go out here and get that job. And then all of that hard work we did to get that job can get wind up getting derailed all because some female is upset at her son or something happened with her on the train and she's mad and she decides, oh, she doesn't want you here anymore, or she's having flashbacks about her boyfriends or her ex or some relative who abused her many years ago. She can decide, oh, I don't want this guy here, so I'm going to upend this man's life, all because I don't want to go to a psychotherapist and deal with my feelings. Or some white dude is upset because he's uncomfortable around black men and he decides, oh, no, I don't like this guy, so I don't want him here. So we are on edge because our source of income can be derailed at any moment for anyone's arbitrary reasons. And this is something people don't understand about black men. Black men, pretty much, we live on the edge. We don't know what the next day is going to bring for us. So a lot of people want to sit there and talk about attitude. Well, it's like this. When you don't know what the next day is going to bring, you are going to be on edge. You are going to be a little nervous because you don't know how you're going to make ends meet the next day, or even if you're going to have a job the next day. And that pretty much is something most people don't understand about the experience of being a black man in the workplace. If that guy has a really serious look on his face like myself, there's a reason why that guy has a serious look, because he doesn't know what tomorrow is going to bring for him. He doesn't know if he's going to have a job tomorrow. For him, he can be fired for any reason, and he's not going to be able to get any support, not only from his community, but from society in general. They're going to say, you're an angry black man, or you did something, and you're just trying to make a living, and you have your whole living upended all because of an arbitrary reason, and that's going to make you anxious. That's going to make you nervous, especially if you have, like myself, lost several jobs, and you have pretty much had your life pretty much derailed 2 or 3 times. And this is something people, again, do not understand about black men. They want to sit there and talk about, oh, you have an attitude or you're just an angry person. That's not the case at all. When I worked at AmeriCorps, I was a very professional person. I was a very serious person. And I thought I was going to be able to pretty much move into Strive and work at Strive for after I came out of that year of service. But when I was told by the vice president that, they had no place for me, that upended my life. Then 9/11 happened. Then finally got a job at a law firm, but it only lasted 2 weeks. So yeah, you are going to be nervous and anxious. Then when you finally get a job and it ends and you get kicked out after 7 months because someone accuses you of sleeping on the job, yeah, you are going to be on edge and pretty much nervous when you're on these jobs. You are going to be pretty much really serious. You are really going to be distant. And this is something people don't understand about black men, and they don't understand about black men in the workplace. They sit there and they think, oh, this guy's just supposed to be skinning and grinning because these coons will sit here and skin and grin and buck dance. But they don't understand what struggles black men go through in the workplace. They don't understand that we deal with a lot of anxiety, we deal with a lot of nervousness, because our economic situation, in many cases, we struggle to try to get back up on our feet. And then when we do get on our feet, we get no support from people in the workplace, in our families, and we pretty much are on our own. And then when we get kicked out of the workplace, we get even less support from people. All we get is blame for everything. And we're supposed to just sit there with a big smile on our face at this interview, skinning and grinning, making it look like we're supposed to be happy. Well, I'm sorry. Black men aren't going to sit there and be happy. For us, this job interview is serious. This is very important to us. It means something to people like me. And the reason why it means something like people like me, because we're trying to get back up on our feet and trying to get stable. And this is something a lot of people don't understand about being a black man. That this one job that may not mean nothing to you may mean the whole world to us. And this is the story that a lot of these people don't want to hear, because all they want to hear is narrative. All they want to do is be told what they want to hear. But I'm at the stage where I'm just going to tell you what I need to know, because you need to know this, because a lot of people, they just go to these interviews and they think that this guy is pretty much there, but he's trying to keep it professional and trying to keep it serious, because this is a break for him. This is an opportunity for him. And guys like me, that's an opportunity for us to finally start getting on our feet and finally start moving our lives forward, because that's what that job means to us. That's what that job would mean to me. But to these people, oh, you just have an attitude. You don't understand why a guy like me is serious. You don't understand why many of the black men on the job are serious, because this is about our life. And this is something people don't understand about being a black man in the workplace. All they understand is they like that skinning and grinning coon. They like that Uncle Tom who sits there and pretty much that Uncle Tom who pretty much there agrees with them. And they like these other types of Negroes who pretty much make them feel comfortable. They don't want to deal with the fact that you can pretty much upend a man's life like that and pretty much lead to that man struggling to pretty much make ends meet. And this is something, again, they don't understand about guys like me. They'll sit there and say, I have an attitude and that you're angry, but they don't understand your frustrations and your struggles. They don't understand what you go through in trying to get, not just to get this interview, and they don't understand what you're trying to do to just keep this job. And you're trying to do everything you can to keep the job, but you run into these walls, and it's really frustrating. So when somebody tells me I have an attitude, I have to sit down and say to them, would you be warm and friendly when you just starting to get on your feet, and then all of a sudden somebody yanks the rug out from under you? Are you going to have a smile on your face when somebody pretty much pulls the carpet off from under you? You just starting to stack some money, and then all of a sudden you got to worry about how you going to start paying your bills again? Are you going to have a smile on your face when you're worried about whether you're going to be able to even afford a haircut or even afford simple basic things? Are you going to be able to sit there with a smile on your face in an interview and skin and grin and pretty much tell someone what they want to hear when you're trying to do what you can to get through the next day? People who have had hard times and hard struggles, they're not going to sit there with a big smile on their face. They're not going to sit there telling you what you want to hear, because they know that that whole story is a bunch of crap and that they have to tell the truth, because that's how they are experiencing the world. But because people are spellbound, they pretty much want to hear a narrative. They want to be told what they want to hear, and they don't want to hear from people like me, because it's making them uncomfortable, and it's taking them out of their smooth world into the rough world where people actually have to compete, and people who actually have to do what they have to do in order to survive. And they don't want to deal with people like that, because those are the type of people who make them uneasy, because it makes them realize that they are in a comfort zone, and that being taken out of that comfort zone means that they have to actually deal with something called reality. If you like what you see on this channel, you can pretty much donate to the Patreon and help me get some money to continue making these videos and these blogs, and help me do other things like my SJS Direct 2017 catalog, and still need the money to pay for those covers. And if you like my SJS Direct titles, you can go over to Amazon.com to click the link in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.